Welcome back, everyone, to an exciting and just an amazing episode of Flibber Jabber, the greatest podcast ever. Oh man, I hope everyone's excited. Before I jump into the episode, I would like to talk about how last episode, even though I was never able to make it to 3 hours, it was 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and it was taxing, not just to make it, but to watch it also. And a lot of people agreed that I should limit the podcast to just an hour. And honestly, an hour podcast is a lot more easier for me to maintain, to be honest. Um, I also don't have a lot of segments, so to limit the podcast down to an hour, yeah, it would definitely make things more easier on everyone, including myself. That being said, let's jump straight to the episode. I am going to take a little break from the brain rot words. I know that I said I was going to go through the whole list of every brain rot word, but here's the thing. I'm not entirely excited to go through a lot of words that most people know about or they don't care about. But I do enjoy funny words. I know they're not supposed to be funny, but they're funny to me. So I would like to start dedicating the word of the day to words that I absolutely love. Like these are words, they're real words or real phrases, and they have like pretty common definitions to the word. So let's jump into it. Today's word will be bumfuzzle. That is bum, like when you sit down on your bottom, fuh, like the fuh sound in fun, and zol, kind of the soul part of the soul, but with a Z sound at the start. Put it together and you have bumfuzzle. So I had ChatGPT take the definition and try to explain it as if I was 5 years old, but I specifically told it to talk down to me. So don't just explain it like I'm five. Really talk to me like I'm five. And this is what it gave me. Oh, okay. So you want to know what bumfuzzle means? It's like when you're trying to do something, like figuring out how to play with a toy, but everything's so confusing. But your brain goes poof, like a balloon popping. That's being bumfuzzled. Imagine your GPS thingy tells you to turn left, but there's no road there. You just sit there, scratching your head, saying, "What the heck?" That's because your brain is all twisty and confused, like when you try to untangle your shoestrings and they just keep getting more tangled. So yeah, bumfuzzle means being all mixed up and confused, like when you try to do something and it doesn't make sense, but you have to keep trying anyway. Got it? You're bumfuzzled, but you're still adorable. Thanks, ChatGPT, for saying that I'm adorable. um, there was also a lot of boogeymen that was left over from last podcast, and instead of indulging in every single one of these, I'm going to spend each podcast going over just three at a time, just to make it more, shall I say, less bumfuzzled. So we have, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce this correctly. Dietco. It sounds like I'm saying Geico. I'm not talking about the insurance company. So here is a Dr. Seuss style rhyme based on the facts about Dietco. In the land of Poland, under moon's soft glow, lurks a creature named Dietco with a slurpy blow. A demon once mighty, then shrunk to a fright. The boogeyman figure who comes in the night, with legs made of straw like a spider's big crawl, and a head that's so large it could topple a wall. Between midnight and 3:30's the time. He'll slurp in your mirror, his presence a crime. But wait, what's this? A twist in the name. For Daiko once was a spirit with much bigger fame. A house guardian demon from Russia, it's true. But, oh my god, how am I supposed to say this? But Christianized. Oh, it wasn't so complicated. But Christianized, he became something quite new. He hides in the dark where the children don't roam, afraid of the light and the warm, cozy home. He's still in the shadows, but not what he was, just a scarecrow to children with slurps and a buzz. Now, the name, it has meaning, a hint from the past. For Ditko or Ditka means grandfather at last. In Ukraine, it's known, and in Russian too, a word for the elder that's corrected to you. So when you're in the mirror, please do beware. If you spend too long, Daitko will be there, a figure of straw with the sound so gross. He's the boogeyman of night, the one you'll want to roast. And so they burn straw, this spell in the air, to chase Daiko away, keep him out of the hair. So remember this rhyme, and beware of the clock, for if you're too long in front, they'll meet Daiko's shock. So in other words, like, if you look at your reflection at a certain time, like it's pretty much a boogeyman that lives inside the mirror. I knew. You know what? I always like subconsciously I was always like, I'm not saying this boogeyman exists, but like there's enough like mythologies and enough boogeymen that live in the mirror where I'm like, I think there's something there. I think something's living in the reflection. It's a little spooky, okay? And I know there's like a science of like how reflection works and everything, but like it's still really freaky. So for Daitko, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Let me ask, uh, how how do you say Daitko name properly? I probably should have done this before the podcast, but it just dawned on me now. Ooh, I am kind of close. Uh, the DYD sounds like deed, rhyming with feed. The KOH sounds like rhyming with go. So it's actually pronounced Deedco. Deedco. Okay. I'm I'm kind of glad I checked in on that. So this boogeyman name is Deedco, not Deitco. Deedco. Now this one's gonna be fun. The next one. This is gonna be a fun one to El Sombrero. God, I mangled that. Hold on. How do you say? I don't know how to say it. Um, so L, just like L in elephant, sounds like L with a soft E sound. Uh, Sombriron. Sombraron. The som sounds like some. Okay, so some. Brie, like the E in bed. Oh, bre. Some bre. And Ron is pronounced with emphasis on the Ron, like Ron and wrong. Okay, okay. So some bra some bre Ron. Sombreron. El Sombreron. I feel like I'm summoning him here. Like I feel like if I say it just correctly enough, the boogeyman of El Sombreron will be here. El Sombreron. Okay, I'll be able to now pronounce this more properly in this Dr. Seuss rhyme. The tale of El Sombreron, a man with the hat. In Guatemala, there's a tale that's quite grand of a short little man with a hat oh so grand. His name's El Sambaran, though he's known by other names. What the fuck? Oh, I don't know how to say these. I didn't look them up. Zippito? Zizmeet? I don't know. He's played in many games. With a belt thick and shiny, boots that stomp and clomp. He's a strange, funny fellow, with a giddy little romp. He dressed all in black, from head to his toes, with a hat so big that it practically grows. He rides on his horses, oh yes, they are many, braiding their tails in the moonlight's not any. But wait, if there's no horse, what will he do? He'll braid doggy tails. That's his trick, it's true. He loves to court ladies, long hair in his sight, with big hazel eyes, they shine in the night. He'll serenade you with a guitar, shiny and silver, but don't be fooled by that song, it's not just a thriller. For he plays his sweet tunes, but he's not the sad part. He fills up your plate with dirt. Ugh, what a start. You can't eat, you can't sleep, no matter how you try. El Sam El Sombriron. El Sombriron. El Sombrion in the air, singing with a sigh. At dusk, when the sun sinks, he's out with a team, a bunch of mules, howling coal like in a dream. Through the streets he will roam around every bend. With his mules by his side, he'll visit again and again. Some say in oh no. La Reclosian. Okay, cool. I'm so thrilled that I mangled that. He still strolls at night, when the moon's shining full and oh so bright, trying his mules by your horse. Not by horse. It's by house. It's not by horse, it's by house. Um oh man, I'm so awesome. I lost my place. Tying his mules by your house, what a surprise. He'll play his guitar and dance neath the skies. But beware, young ladies, his love comes with woe. A visit from Sambaran is sure to slow your heart, your sleep, your appetite too, until holy waters poured and your hairs cut through. For in this legend a lesson's at hand. Preserve your values and make a firm stand. For El Sambaran will, while charming and sweet, can leave you quite tired and not on your feet. So remember his name in both Guatemala and lore, and find the moonlight, for who knows what's in store. It sounds like this is like something mothers would tell their daughters about the guy that they don't want them talking to. Like, oh, the guy down the street, that's not just a guy. That's not a guy. That's not just some guy down the street. No, that's El Sombriron. That's El Sombriron. That's who that is. You thought that was a guy? What'd he tell you? Yeah, he was going through. It was just passing through. Yeah, yeah. That is what an El Sombriron would say. Okay, he's going to take you away. You won't be able to sleep. He'll keep you up all night. He's a menace, I tell you. All right. The chief and his mask of woe. Chaluska. Chaluska the chief and his mask of woe. In Hades' hot sun, on what a scene, there lived a man named Chaluska Keen. Chaluska Oscar Etini, a chef so bold, had a tale so dark, a story untold. He led the police, oh, what a sight, under a president who was not quite right. In Port-au-Prince, with power in hand, he massacred many in his command. 150 their lives he took. A brutal affair, oh, what a crook. But what happened next was quite a surprise. The people of Haiti, with angry eyes, took him down swiftly in the city square, and ended his reign with a mighty glare. But wait, the story doesn't stop, for Chaluska's name began to hop. In Carnival's costumes, he took his place, a mask with teeth and a fierce red face. Chaluska's spirit, a ghost on the go, a symbol of power that overthrew woe. In Hades' Carnival? In Hades' Carnival, what a grand parade, where masks and costumes and mockery were laid. With a military coat, a mask that could bite, they'd mock his rule and show their fight. One Chaluska falls and another comes in to show that the cycle never truly ends. Hades' Carnival, a sight so grand, a time to voice what no one can stand. They mock the past with a twist and a cheer to say, we've had enough, it's time for a new year. So Chaluska's mask with his teeth so red, living on the carnival, it's what's said. A reminder of power and the pain that it brings, but also a hope for better things. That's kind of interesting, actually. So this guy, he like pretty much took a bunch, like, from what I understand from the poem, is that he, what was it, dictator? Is that what I'm gathering here? He took 150 lives, uh, in a brutal affair. Oh, what a crook. But what happened next was quite a surprise. The people of Haiti, with angry eyes, took him down swiftly in the city square and ended his reign with a mighty glare. So pretty much, he took 180 lives, and then the people were like, not so fast, and they dragged him down and killed him. Like, they took him down to the city square, and they're like, well, that's the end of you. You played stupid games and you just won a stupid prize. Congratulations, you're gonna die. You thought you were gonna bumfuzzle us, and now you're gonna pay. All right. In the last episode, I asked all of you to do a fun, exciting one-word story, and I kind of want to read what that one-word story sounds like, because I did put it through ChatGPT to then turn it into a more exciting theater of the mind like story. So I think it would be appropriate for me to show off like what the original sounded like, and then maybe show off uh, what came of it. I'm looking to do this the one time. I do plan on sharing more one-word stories, but showing off what it sounded like originally and then showing what it sounds like afterwards, it's just to show you what kind of a great story comes out of this. Like, it really did try using every single bit of the one-word story in the upgraded, which ChatGPT made with the theater of the mind story. And I think if I read to you what the one-worded story sounded like before I put it through ChatGPT, you can see what kind of changes were made. And afterwards, from this point forward, I'm just going to read the theater of the mind version of the story. Just only this time, just for this episode, I will read the one-word story. So, all right, I feel like I'm just going in circles with this. I'm going to round it around. I'm just explaining the same thing over and over again. Let's just jump into it. So the title of the one-word story is Void Whispers and Wasteland Feasts. Your next fact should be about horseshoe crabs' blood being blue and how their blood is used in lab experiments. I think they've been around for a long time, and after contributing to the experiment, they get released afterward, said the creature in the void as it stretched menacingly before going on about how horseshoe crabs are nice creatures to keep as pets or workers if needed. Help around. The dog chased the cat down the street, barking as the cat ran past the house with the yellow roof. It knew it was free to shapeshift into something larger. Fireworks exploded in the sky as they dazzled the audience from the stands at night. Next to the popcorn stand that sold out of popcorn quickly, they felt safe. The aftermath of the fallout from the explosion that wiped out everyone was seen from across the land as people ran from disaster to underground vaults to hide in fear. Birds! Shouted Edgar, the mortician who loved birds on toast, with Marmite on the side. It was his favorite snack, and he loved eating it. Never try guacamole in France because it tastes like chicken left outside overnight and is best left. Let's play a game of chance and luck as we eat. Our salt was needed to be used for flavor for the meal. Yum, said the creature as it took another bite. Cold and alone, that's what it wanted. As wasteland is desolate and void of life, survival of humanity, wrath against the love was. Yeah. If you want to know what it feels like to have a brain aneurysm, I would recommend reading that. that oh that made me feel unhealthy. But I put it through ChatGPT, and this is the story it created from what you just heard. Void whispers and wasteland feasts. The void stretched endlessly, a yawning abyss where time dripped like melting wax. In its heart lurked something ancient, something hungry. You know, the voice slithered through the darkness, each syllable curling like smoke. Your next fact should be about horseshoe crabs. Their blood is blue, a scientific marvel, a key to experiments. The creature stretched, its silhouette unfurling like ink in water, its form fluid, shifting. It spoke with an air of casual menace, as if discussing the weather while unraveling the secrets of the cosmos. They've been around longer than the mountains, it mused, voice layered with time itself. And after their service to science, they are freed, wandering back into the tides, as if the needle never touched them. The void rumbled, a soundless pulse that vibrated through unseen walls beyond it. A different kind of hunger stirred. The chase. A dog sleek and shadowed pelted down the nameless street, its claws tapping like whispered secrets behind it. A cat fleed, eyes like molten gold, body twisting through the gaps of the crumbling world. They were more than they seemed, more than mere predator and prey. As the cat passed a house with a yellow roof, something ancient flared within it. It knew this place, knew what it could become. With a thought, it expanded. Bones cracked, fur rippled, limbs stretched like molten wax cooling into a new form. A beast now stood where a cat had been, towering sleek, its breath steaming in the night. The dog skipped to a stop, recognition dawning in its ember-like eyes. The hunt had changed. The spectacle. Above them, fireworks slashed upon... Above them, fireworks slashed open the sky. Bright wounds? Bright wounds in the darkness, bursts of crimson, silver, and violet, bled across the firmament, illuminating the crumbling buildings and the silent audience gathered beneath. Figures draped in tattered cloth stood motionless, their hollowed face turned toward the display. The scent of butter and salt clung to the air. Popcorn stands still stood, their owners long devoured by time, yet the scent persisted. The crowd did not cheer, they only watched, breath held waiting, because the fireworks were not for celebration. They were a signal. The feast. In the aftermath of the explosions, the whispering began. It slithered through the street like a living thing, threading between abandoned cars and shattered windows. The figures at the stands stirred, their hollow eyes turning toward the source. From the void, the creature came forth. Its form rippled between being and nothingness, stretched long and sinewy, stitched from the fabric of the abyss. It moved between the cracks of reality, between the space others could not tread. Tonight, it purred, we dine. The watchers turned as one. Their movements were slow, deliberate. They had waited for this. The fireworks had been the call. The creature was the host. The city itself was the table. The final whisper. The towering beast that had once been a cat turned golden eyes, narrowing as it saw the void creature emerge. The dog beside it lowered its head, ears pinned, hackles raised. The creature grinned, or something close to it. You've been running for so long, it murmured. But the feast welcomes all. The chasers, the chased, the lost, the found, all must eat. The night rippled. The buildings sighed. The watcher stepped forward. The cat beast's muscles coiled. The dog's breath came in slow, measured huffs. They would not be part of the feast. They would end it. And as the first step was taken, as the void stretched open, its gnashing maw, the hunt began anew. The final chase, the final feast, and the void whispered their names. Wow. I hate that there's not more. But that's what it sounds like. That is what it would sound like from from the one word story that I read to you and what we got in the end. There's a lot. All right. Me and my friends and I, friends, us and me, we've done a lot of one word stories. And I've archived every single one of them. I've been doing one word stories with my friends since 20. Oh, God. How long has it been now? 2022? A few years, okay? Like, definitely more than just a year. Like, we've been doing this for a while. So, I have archived every single one word story that we've ever done. Not all of them have good endings to them. So, a lot of them are going to, like, end abruptly like this one did. But, no, I am thrilled to do more of these, to read far more of these. I just checked the timer. 31 minutes left to go. Oh no. All right. Okay. I got through 3 facts, the story, word of the day, housekeeping. I got through all of it a lot faster than I thought I would, actually. Um I guess the next part of the podcast that I've got prepared is story time. Time for me to share some stories. Oh man. And then stay tuned for the end of the episodes today or tonight, depending on how whenever you're listening to this. I almost said watching. You can't see me. You can see Star Wars Battlefront 2 playing, but you can't see me. But at the end of the episode, I'm going to ask all of you to do something special in the comments like I did last time. It's not going to be another one word story, okay? I got plenty of those in the archives for me to do. It's going to be something new, a new segment I want to add to the podcast. And I think all of you would really like it. But that would mean the end of me telling stories about my life. So this episode will be the last episode that I will tell stories. Not because I'm running out of them. I have plenty of stories. It's just that I don't want to anymore. All right. I think another thing that I struggle with is trying to remember any good stories. Okay. Okay. All right. There's a couple of good ones and a couple that are not good, but I could still share them regardless. All right. So there was once this time, I think it was in Valley Airmo. I think that's where the location of this was. And there are like these monks. They're like Catholic monks, I think. I know you might be thinking, oh, that's just called a clergy. Christ, I think it was a clergy. No, now that I think about it, no, I think they were clergy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it was a clergy. Um, anyways, they're like monks, but they're pretty much people that wear like burling sacks and like they give away all their possessions. And they live in a monastery, and they do this little festival, and this festival is meant to like donate money to the clergy, to the monastery, so that they can get supplies that they need because they don't want to. I don't know the rules. Okay, I don't. All I know is that there was a festival and my family went, and some of my family members were volunteers to this, and I didn't really know the importance of what was going on. It was really cool. Okay, like there was this one where it was like I mean, I guess this is kind of common now, but back then it was like really cool. Because it was like in the 90s, and you could get into this like little car that kind of moved a little bit, not a lot. Like it was just a little thing that tilted side to side when you turned the car, which was really exciting back then. And we were playing Twisted Metal, which was even cooler. And there was like cotton candy machine, and there was hot dogs, and you had to get like these little tickets, right? And I there was like a bunch of tickets that were on the ground because it was like towards the end of the event. You know, the carnival was wrapping up and everyone was heading home. And it was all these tickets, like people just toss them on the ground. Like they're like, whatever, brah. They would throw it on the ground. And I had like a bunch of them now. And I told my mom and dad, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go get some cotton candy real quick. I got like a bunch of leftover tickets. And I don't know what they were doing. They were not paying attention to me, that's for sure. They were doing something. But I could see that people were starting to pack up, and I didn't want to lose my opportunity. I had all these tickets now. So I did one more game of the car racing one where the car tilted side to side. I got myself a hot dog. I got myself all the cotton candy I would want, some soda, an icy. I splurged. I was living on seventh heaven. I was walking on clouds. It was like I had the opportunity of infinite prizes, and I had the golden key, the golden ticket to get whatever I wanted. So I was doing pretty good. Pretty good. I got sick, I ate too much. I played the game a little too long. And as I'm coming back, I've spent all my tickets. I still had cotton candy and a drink. And there's all these cops. I was like, what's going on? I mean, they had helicopters flying everywhere. There was cops like stopping cars as they're leaving and checking the cars. And I was like, whoa, did something happen? What's going on? And I'm trying to make my way back to the area where my parents were and where the rest of my family were, and it was empty. And I kept asking, I was like, hey, where's everyone at the tent? I'm like, I don't know. They start yelling and they took off. I was like, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh, they didn't leave me here. Nuh-uh. And like I was like slowly thinking to myself, like, this wasn't like a clever way of abandoning me, was it? I'm like, bravo, you really got me. Like, I didn't know how to react to it. And they didn't take off. Spoilers, they didn't leave me. No, they were helping the cops. And I was still kind of like, okay, cool. Until I heard my mom yelling that she couldn't find her son. And that's when I realized, uh oh, oh no, they think I've been kidnapped. Uh oh. I've been gone for a good long while, and things have escalated since I was gone. And they think that I'm in one of these cars that's leaving. And that's why there's helicopters and police dogs. There was police dogs, okay? There was like genuine manhunt. There was like a search for me. And I didn't even know. I was just eating my cotton candy and sipping my drink, kind of wandering around, kind of like blissfully looking at the helicopters, looking at the cops, going, "Huh, that's neat. Where's my family?" That was for me, and there was like I was still kind of naive. Like I didn't realize the level of trouble I was truly in. So I revealed myself. I was like, "Oh, here I am," like as if that that was gonna fix everything. Like, ta-da! Here I am, and my mom like, "Oh my god, oh my god, I found my son. Here he is. I found my son," and everyone started clapping. Now, here's the thing. I've had a tremendous day at this point. I've had lots of soda, lots of cotton candy, popcorn, caramelized popcorn. I remember eating a bunch of candy, and like I got to play like a whole bunch of arcade games, and I got to like give a bunch of tickets to this like one clown that got me like a little balloon hat, and like I had like the golden ticket to the kingdom, and now everyone's applying me. Okay, you have to see that from my perspective of like, hey, this is kind of cool. It wasn't until like afterwards they weren't applying for me. And like as I got older, I have now realized what kind of a gremlin I was. Not only was I scavenging for tickets on the ground, but like I did tell them I was going to go do that. But like I absent-mindedly went and did it anyways, came back and pretended like nothing was wrong. So, speaking of gremlin, let me tell you what I did in high school. And I listen, listen. I tell this particular story to everyone and anyone within earshot. So I'm not embarrassed to tell this story. Um right around junior high, so before high school, I started getting into the good old habit of dumpster diving. And I used to jump into dumpsters and pull out what I like to call treasures. And I'm not talking like people's trash. I mean, okay, yeah, it was trash, but like I'm talking like sometimes people threw out CDs and I'd get a brand new CD collection. Or sometimes people threw out like I once found a cigar cutter, and I once found like a wine stopper, and I found like all kinds of cool stuff in the trash. And I would do it when no one was watching. I wasn't like going after anyone's like personal stuff. I mean, okay, I guess that's debatable, but like I wasn't going for like receipts and paycheck stumps and stuff like that. Like I was just like CDs and stuff, stuff that they didn't want anymore. They threw out, and I pretty much just dumpster dived for it. And so I'm telling that part because of high school. So there was a moment, a little clarity came into mind. You see, I was getting lunch at the cafeteria, and I realized that like the cafeteria wasn't really getting me full, and that upsetted me. That upsetted me pretty well. And it didn't take long for me to realize that like, hey, wait a minute, what did they do with the food when they don't sell it? And this is what I found out. I waited for the tardy bell because I was like, I had a free period like where I didn't have to go to class, and I kind of watched the cafeteria to see what they did with the food, and they threw it out. They threw out the food that they couldn't sell. And Well, by golly gee, there's no lock on that trash can. By golly gee, Whitakers, I do believe I know how to get some free food. So when they weren't looking, like a little gremlin, I would open the trash can lid and I would take all the food out. And in my defense, they were wrapped in plastic. Like the saran wrap, you know what I mean? Where like they would just kind of tie it around the food. And so like, okay, I wasn't like digging to the bottom of the trash to get the food. I'm literally only grabbing the food that's on top of the trash, like it's resting on it, and it's covered in saran wrap. Now, my friends saw me do this, not right away. There was a couple of days, like 2 or 3 weeks of good eating, and I got away with it for 2 or 3 weeks. And my friends, they saw me do it one day, and they're like, "What are you doing? You can't do this." And I'm like, "Don't worry, no one will know." And they're like, "Well, yeah, well, we know now." It's like, still, don't worry. It's in plastic. I'm not gonna get sick. And like, that's not the point. It's the principle of the thing. You're stealing. Stealing what? They're throwing it away. It's going to the dump. What, you think the school's gonna like dig through the trash and recycle that? It's going to the dump. It's going to be thrown away. I'm just eating it before it does. That's not stealing. So these motherfuckers, right? These narcs, they tell on me. They tell the cafeteria what I'm doing. Like, I felt betrayed. I like, how you ratted on me. Why would you do that? Okay, first of all, why would you do that? You could see that I'm hungry. You could see that like I want to eat. So why would you narc on me like that? First of all, second of all, uh you're my friend and you did that. And I thought you had my back on this. So the cafeteria had me, talk to them, and they're like, "We don't appreciate what you were doing, and we're gonna have to give you lunch detention." And lunch detention just meant that like you had to pick up some trash during lunch. Like you were able to eat, but then afterwards you had to pick up trash around the school. Did that stop me? No. No. There was a person that was watching the trash cans now. Uh that just only meant that I had to get more clever with how I did it. So they didn't know I had a free period. So like after they threw out the food, they had to then like move the trash can elsewhere because of me, and I found out where it was, and I just kept stealing food. And so did you think my friends were gonna not rat on me a second time? Because I started hiding it. I started hiding it. And I started lying to my friends. I was like, "No, I'm eating my food. I bought this food. And there's 50 plates of other food I bought too." Yeah, there's 50 other plates. This is also me. They ratted me out a second time. They told on me. And so the cafeteria once again, but this time instead of giving me lunch detention, they worked out a deal with me. They were like, "Okay, look, we're not supposed to do this, but we want you to not get sick. Granted, it's in plastic, but we don't want you to get sick. So what we'll do is this. We kind of figured you have a free period. Come around back and we'll feed you. That way you don't, cuz like I guess the cafeteria could get in trouble if students are eating food out of the trash can. They get in trouble for that. But they won't necessarily get in trouble if I eat it before it goes to the trash, uh because they don't have to document that. So yeah, during my free period, they just worked out a deal with me. They're like, "Look, we just don't want you getting sick and we don't want to get into trouble, so during my free period, if I was still hungry, I would just go up to them and they'd give me free food." And that actually kind of worked out better for me. Um Now, I wasn't like a fat kid, okay? Like I wasn't like just this like guy who just loved to splurge all the time. I was doing like a lot of different sports. So my metabolism was kind of high. I was really able to pack it down back in the day. I was like 190 pounds, and like I was super active. I was in the wrestling team. I did football with my friends. Uh, I was like going jogging, and like I can't do that now. I can't all that extra activity. No, not anymore. I was doing kickboxing and rock climbing. I was really into it. And so one of my friends at one point, okay. This has to do with how much I can eat. So back in high school, my friends knew I can like pack it away. Like they knew I can eat. Um so I was helping my friend's sister's boyfriend. My friend's sister's boyfriend move into her place. And as my reward, he was going to treat us out to lunch. And my friend was just like, he knew. He knew I was going to make this guy go broke. So he was like, oh, what do you want to eat? I'm like, what can you afford? And he's like, oh, whatever you want. I'm like, all right, I'll take a Baconator. And he goes, is that it? I mean, I guess I'll take that with a large. And he goes, oh, okay. Do you think that'll fill you up? I'm like, well, I mean, I can order a lot, but I just don't want to like, you know, overstep my boundaries here. It's like, oh, order whatever you want. It's on me. Thank you so much for helping me move. Order whatever you want. I'm like, how much? He's like, whatever you want. And I wasn't sure. I was like, are you sure? He's like, bro, as much as you want. I'm like, there it is. That's the golden ticket, baby. What, as much as I want? Oh, hell yeah. I'll take the Baconator, the chili fries, I'll take the hot dogs, I'll take two of the number twos, I'll have one of the number fives, I'll have a milkshake, a Coke. Like I went off. Like I knew exact. And he's like, nuh-uh. I was like, what do you mean, nuh-uh? You said however much I want. No. I don't think you need that. All of that. $50. He's like, excuse me? $50 as I can. He's like, oh, you're on. So we did not leave that table until I finished that meal. And I finished that meal. And he goes, oh, I bet you're pretty full. I was like, I could do another large milkshake. He's like, no, the $20 says you can't. I'm like, you're on. And so he got me another large milkshake and I ate it. Easiest $70 I've ever made. And so we went to my friend's grandmother's house. Same day, like right after the Wendy's thing. We unloaded the moving van and then we had to go to his grandmother's place. And the sister's boyfriend and the sister went with us. And the grandmother was like, oh, I made some chili if you guys are hungry. And I was like, yeah, I think I can eat. And the sister's boyfriend was like, no fucking way. I was like, yeah, oh man, I think I'm a little peckish. I think I can eat. And so I then had chili hot dogs, 3 of them with a large Coke that on that moment. And so she was like, okay, hold on. I need your help. You need to go under the house and like unplug some stuff. Like she was on to me, right? She knew I will practically do almost anything for food. And I was like, okay, yeah, you got it. And like it was covered in like black widow nests and there was like spiders and like I could barely breathe because like the soil was like powder underneath the house. But I went under there, I got the cord out of there. It was like a cable extension and like they had to get like this guy to show up to do it. And he was going to charge them a lot of money because like health risks and all of that. And they looked at me and they're like, you'll do it, won't you? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I did that for some homemade pie. She said she'll make me some homemade pie. And my friend said that he'll buy me an entire box of Score bars. Now, okay, here's the thing. Hold on, here's the thing. Score bars, really? Those are like my Scooby snacks right there. I will do it for a Scooby snack. That's pretty much what a Score bar is to me. It's like a little cookie with caramel and it's dipped in chocolate. Like it is. It's good. It's amazing. It's awesome. And he's gonna give me a whole box? A whole box? Of Score bars? Oh, you bet your bippity I went down there faster than you can say, no, wait, it's unsanitary. I got the job Done. I got the slice of pie, a whole box of Score bars, and then I went home and had dinner. And then right afterwards, I went home and my parents got me Panda Express. And like, are you hungry? And I was like, yeah, I think I can eat. I was a bottomless pit in high school. Okay, I can eat and eat and eat. I used to go to like all you can eat buffets and like would get plates and plates and plates of food, like like no end to my hunger. I was like Kirby. I was like Yoshi. I was just a bottomless pit, and it's caught up to me later on in life. But who cares? I was a teenager back then. I didn't think about what I would be like in my 30s. I don't have diabetes. The end of this story doesn't end with me having diabetes, by the way. I know a lot of people assume that, but I don't have it. I've been checked multiple times, and regardless of what anyone says, the doctors have confirmed I don't have it. um, my appetite is still kind of like that. Like the most I can eat these days is if we were to go to Domino's and get an entire large pizza, and I can eat two of those. But other than, but other than that, it's not as good as it used to be. um, I remember the last time I was in Vegas, which was like last year. I went to a, what do they call that? The Golden Corral? No, that's not it. The station? It's like a buffet. It's like a very common buffet in Vegas. I think it's called the Golden Station. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. And so I went there. Oh, criminy. No, I'm wrong. It was the Luxor. Okay, it was the Luxor. I remember this more clearly. Um, and I went there with my family, not wife or kids or anything like that. Like my dad and sister and uh my brother-in-law, and we sat down and like I scared them. Like I had at least six plates of food, but like they were like it was like piled up. Like as if I was a POW and I didn't understand how like food worked, and I just piled it up on a plate and I just gobbled it down. And my sister was like, "You're gonna get sick." And I was just like, maybe, but I'm gonna go back and get more. My because of like how I can consume food, whenever I go to like all you can eat buffets, I get to try a little bit of everything. Like, not everyone can do that, and I understand that, but there's a joy. There's a deep joy to me of being able to like get I can physically actually try a little bit of everything at a buffet, and I love that. Um like the amount of food that I can do right now, like double that back then, but it's not as good as it used to be. Uh, yeah, I kind of do. There is a part of me that kind of misses being able to eat that much. Like honestly, I do miss that, but I don't know. I I think in my older age, there's other meals that I'm able to like appreciate that back then I probably couldn't have appreciated as much as I do now. And I think my palate is more refined than it used to be. Like back then, I kind of had like I wasn't really into tomatoes and I wasn't really into avocado and I wasn't really into vegetables too much. But now I kind of enjoy them, you know. I know a lot of people are like, false. I've seen what you look like. You're a little chubby guy. Chubby guys don't like vegetables. I do though. Like vegetables are kind of nice if they're like, properly prepared. I'm not going to sit there and eat them raw. And like and whenever I eat salads, people are like, "Oh, are you on a diet?" No. This quantity of ranch dressing on the salad should tell you that I'm not. There's clearly bacon on this salad. What do you mean am I on a diet? There's clearly cheese and like dressing and bacon and like shredded beef And like I'm pretty sure the lettuce is just garnish on this plate than an actual salad. That being said, my favorite salad is the seafood salad. Not because of like, oh, are you saying it's just crab? No, no, no. Like lettuce, right? With like the shredded crab meat and like the lemon and like the dressing and all of that. Like it's really good. It's really good. It's one of my favorite salads. And I get it from Stater Brothers. I don't know where I was going with that. I really don't. Whenever I start talking about food, my brain kind of gets a little railroaded into talking about food. Mochi is my favorite kind of dessert. Mochi is amazing, okay? It's like this doughy rice, right? With like ice cream in the center. It's pretty solid. The first time I had mochi was at like one of those sushi bars with like the conveyor belt and like the sushi is on the belt and like it's kind of like it's moving past you. You gotta take it off the belt so you can eat it. And that was like one of those kinds of restaurants was the first time I had mochi, and it was just a life changer. And I've had different kinds of mochi since then, but like ice cream filled mochi is hands down the greatest. Um, yeah. Again, I don't know where I was going with that. I just thought I'd throw that little factoid out there randomly. Uh, we're down to the last 3 minutes. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I've, I guess I'll spend these last 3 minutes talking about what to expect in the comments at the end of this podcast. So at the end of in the comments, sorry, I have like these hiccups. Anyways, in the comments, I want all of you to ask me questions, and I want to start answering some of these questions. Now, when I say questions, I don't necessarily mean like, what's the meaning of life? Have you ever done this? I mean more of like nerd related questions that I can look up and see if I can like answer and kind of give my 2 cents about my opinion of these facts. So, like, for example, you can ask a question such as, when I'm using a crossbow, do I use a main action or a bonus action to reload the crossbow? And I'll answer that question. Or, uh, is there a particular way that I'm supposed to play this particular kind of Magic the Gathering deck? And if there's like a question that I don't know the answer to, I will try to look for the answer and then explain how that works to answer the question. I don't know. I think that would be an interesting uh way to interact with everyone in the comments. And like, sure, I get it. Some of you might ask me questions about my life, and that's fine. I'll answer those as well. So like, instead of me sitting here kind of like trying to think of what stories to tell all of you that I would think you would enjoy, maybe it would be more fun if you guys ask me questions about like, have you ever done something like this before? Like, have you ever uh done a marathon? I can answer that right now. I have never tried to do a marathon. Not ever. And I never plan to either. Um because I don't like to run. I have like terrible lungs. And if I try to run for more than 30 seconds, my lungs feel like they're about to pop like balloons. And here's another one. Have you ever thought about entering a weightlifting competition? No, no, not ever. I enjoy lifting weights. I'm not interested in entering competitions for lifting weights. Same thing with most competitions. I'm not entirely competitive, so I don't like entering competitions anymore. I used to, like when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I entered competitions. I don't really have an interest in being competitive anymore. Same thing with video games. I used to enter video game competitions. I don't anymore. Uh, let's see. Another one that I can answer pretty quickly. Do you drive a car? No, I do not. I'm working on getting my driver's license, and I already have my permit to practice. I just need to go down to the DMV and actually take the behind the wheel test. And then once I do that, I'll have my driver's license. Do I have a car? Yes. I have a PT Cruiser that's I'm inheriting once I get my license. So I will, like, once I get the license, I'll instantly start driving. And finally, a question that I feel like people would ask me, uh, despite me saying it earlier, no, I've never been married. I've been close to being married before, but I've never been married, and I don't have any kids. So don't bother asking if I have any kids or if I'm married. Do I have a relationship? No, I'm single. And have I ever been to college? Yes, I went to a community college, and I learned how to edit, like, for movies, like production quality editing. I know it doesn't look like that in my videos. All right, but I know how to use a lot of like Adobe software from college. Um, and the final question that I'll answer, uh, hey, you know what? I can't think of anything else. I think I answered all the questions that I would assume someone would ask me. So yeah, in the comments at the end of this podcast, go ahead and ask me a question that you would like to see me answer in the next episode, and I will uh, either A, read them off, or B, I will reference the question and we'll just answer it. But I think this will be a fun little, because as you saw, right, with my three facts and the one word story and the word of the day, I got through it lightning fast. Like the first 30 minutes, done. So I think by having all of you ask me questions and me answering them, it will fill the time more faster. That's gonna be it for this episode. I hope everyone enjoyed watching the premiere, and if you're watching this outside of the premiere, I just really hope you enjoyed listening in on this. And I'll catch all of you in the next episode.